Son, get your ass over here.
What?
Go get me some milk.
Fine. Are you someone looking to buy a used car but not sure what to look for? Or do you just need advice on your next used car? Follow this video to get a few tips.
Hello everyone, so today we will be going through all the different things you need to know in order to buy a used car. Now, you might be someone who is buying their first car, or you might just be someone who just doesn't buy a brand new car. So you go for something used. Now, the first thing we need to check is the exterior of the car, right? So if you follow me, we'll have a quick look. Now, in terms of the exterior of the car, you want to have a look at things like bumps, scratches on the car, things like this. You also want to check the tires. You want to make sure that they're not quite flat out. If they are, it means someone's been doing a lot of wheel spins, a lot of handbrake turns, that sort of stuff. You want to inspect the body, check that there isn't any bumps, scratches on the side here. You also need to check that there isn't any scratches of the paint, just like this one here. You also want to check that there isn't any moisture covering here, because if there is, you might need to replace the whole light. Alright, so you want to make sure that there isn't any windscreen chips on here. Now that can be quite important. Now in this car, we've got a windscreen chip right here. It's not blocking the view of the driver, but if it is, you might want to check that out, and it can fail the MOT as well. So now that we've inspected all the exterior of the car, let's have a look in the engine. So now the first thing is you need to lean in here, check in for the level of the oil. So just wipe that down, dash it back in here, pull it back out, and check that the oil is between the minimum and the maximum. Next thing you want to do is check the engine coolant. Now you want to make sure you open this when the engine is cold, otherwise it can pressurize and open up in your face. You want to make sure that it's between the minimum and the maximum. So you want to just open that up, have a look, check that it's all right, there's enough in there. It's usually blue or red, and yeah, that's all good. So now this is what the engine is. You want to check that, you want to open this compartment here. You want to make sure that there isn't any white residue in there. If there is any white residue, it can mean that water has gone in and it's mixed in with the oil, and this can mean that the head gasket's gone. So you know, that's red flags right here. So if there are any, just, you know, I'd walk away from the car. We're all good here though, so we're gonna shut that. Right, so last but not least, you want to make sure that everything's aligned around here. All the lights are aligned with the car. You want to make sure that there isn't anything broken around here, because that can mean that the car has had a front impact. So you want to make sure that it's literally all lined up in the right manner and it does look all right. Otherwise, it can mean that the car was involved in some sort of accident. Yeah, and there you have it. That's with the bonnet, guys. In terms of the interior of the car, you want to check the steering wheel. You want to check that it's not been worn out. You want to check the gear stick. You want to make sure that that's not been worn out. If it has been worn out, you know, it can cost you quite a bit to fix. You want to check the seats of the car. When you get in and ask the owner for a test drive, you want to turn the car on and check for little things in the car, like the mileage. You want to check the lights, and you want to check the windscreen. So for instance here, we'll turn the car on, check if the lights go on, and then you want to go down, check if the lights actually go on, turn on or not. So let me do that. Yep, lights are all good. And then you want to just try flash, see that the lights work during flash as well. And then you want to check the windscreen wipers. There's usually water in there, and then you just want to spray out, see what it's like. Yep, all works good. Use the back on as well and just have a look. Yep, all works good. And yeah, from there on, just check the little things like the radio.
And for the next one,
Yeah.
we're going international, baby.
Yeah, sound works all good. Yeah, there aren't any distortions within the sound, within the radio. Yep, turn that off now. So now you want to turn the car on to check if there's any engine warning lights on. So let's do that. Now all the warning lights usually pop up, but they'll just disappear, which is what you'd expect. The only warning light left is the handbrake. Now you want to put your foot on the foot brake and just put that down. Yep, that all disappears, which is good. Now it says service right there in the middle of the screen. You want to just make sure that the car's been serviced recently. Ask the owner if the car's been serviced with a trustworthy dealer. Have a look at the paperwork, check that's all legit. Now another thing you want to check is the temperature of the engine. Now it's sitting at 90 degrees, which is bang in the middle. That's about where you want it to be. If it's too hot, then you know it's not good news. If it's too cold, again, not good news. So yeah. Now you need to ask the owner a few questions. You need to make sure you ask the owner if they have the logbook. You need to make sure you ask the owner if they have the V5 form, and if they have any service history with the car. Checking service history is quite important because it allows you to know what faults the car's had in the past and what work's been done to it. You also need to check the current MOT status on the car. You want to check how long's left on the MOT of the car. If the owner is selling the car with a month left on the MOT, you probably want to start asking questions. And you probably want to buy a car that's got at least 10 to 11 months MOT on it, because that means that the MOT has just been done, so you know that there aren't many major faults in the car. Now you want to ask the owner if you can actually drive the car. Most of the time they'll say yes. Sometimes they'll say, are you insured on the car? Now that's where problems lie. Sometimes they'll agree to drive the car themselves, which you may just have to do. However, if you are 25 and over in the UK and you're insured as a first driver on your own car, they're usually okay with it because their insurance covers you on their car. So yeah, so this owner has agreed for me to test drive this car. So let's see how it goes. So let's put this in D, check the blind spots, mirrors, and off we go. Now this car sounds really good. You know, it's only done 60,000 miles. It's a VW Golf 1.6 diesel. And with those sort of cars, you don't expect them to have faults at lower mileage. However, you do want to ask about things like the cam belt. Has the cam belt been done? Because that usually needs changing around the 60,000 mark or every 6,000 miles. So yeah, just ask those little questions, I'd say. And when you go for a test drive, just see how the car drives, see how it feels. If it's an automatic, you want to listen out for any sounds, squeaks in the engine. If it's manual, while you're changing gears from gears 1 to 6 or how many ever gears there are, make sure you listen out for any sounds within every single gear change. You might also want to stop on the side and put the car in different gears, just to check that the gear stick actually goes into the gear, because that allows you to actually find out if there are any underlying issues within the gearbox. Now in automatics, however, you want to check that the gearbox has been serviced, which is an important factor within automatics, because you know gearboxes are quite expensive to fix. So yeah, make sure you take that into account. Now you also want to listen out for any sounds within the car, any squeaks in the engine, any sounds that aren't really meant to be there. Now when you're driving a car, you're not really meant to be hearing any sounds other than the wheels driving on the road. Other than that, you're not meant to be hearing any squeaks or any rattling from the engine or rattling from, you know, the aircon. So if you do hear any of those, I'd start asking questions, and I'd start making sure that there isn't something wrong with the engine, because that's the most important part of the car, and that's the most expensive thing to fix if you did have to fix. So at this stage you want to put the car in D, have the handbrake up and just try drive off, see if it drives off. If it doesn't drive off, it means the handbrake is, you know, working really well. So now you just put the handbrake back down and start driving again. Now this car feels very smooth. At 60,000 miles, for a VW, a German car, you don't expect to hear any bad sounds from the engine at this stage of the car. Yeah, it feels really comfortable to drive, steers really well. You also want to check that the windows go all the way down. So we've got some window central locking around here, so we'll just check that they go all the way down. Yep, that all works fine. We'll shut those down. Now that you've decided that you wanted to buy the car, just, you know, be nice to the owner. Say that, yep, you love the car. Just appreciate the car, and, you know, go back to base and literally just tell the owner that, you know, you're interested in the car, and, you know, ask them if they're willing to take offers. They're usually happy to go within the 10% range, I would say. There you have it, guys. Thank you very much for listening. Please subscribe. Please like the video as well, and show me some support. Thank you. Oh, we're rolling. Oh, sorry. So, guys, I've summarized the key points in the description, so make sure you check them out when you go to buy your next car. Thank you.